Yo, it's Guido coming at you with the Tactics Talk. Welcome back, guys. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate the support of the channel as always. I got a great one right here, a success story. Deadhead 65 from Clan 13 AD. That's one of Pilgrim's clanmates sent me this. Gave me a little story about it as well. He says, this is one of my clanmates having an epic game, using all the skills and tactics as taught by Guido. I love the success stories. I like to see that what we're trying to do here is helping people. Now, one of the things I usually do when I get a new subscription, or not a new subscription, but a new submission, is I will take a look at their stats. Not stat shame, just to see where they are. Look at a snapshot on how they've done it. Initially, I looked at this Deadhead 65 here, and I said, wow, he's got 49%, so he's an average player. And I watched the replay, and I said, wait a minute, let me dig a little further. So I looked at it, and he's actually running nice blues right now, so he's actually learning quite a bit. Looks like he tends to be a TD player, mostly, but he's getting much, much better at the game. And I think we've got a good example here, and I think it's a great learning example as well. We'll talk about it as we go, but he's driving his T28 HTC Tier 7 American. This thing's awesome. This is a reward tank for the first campaign, and it is a lot of fun. Now, it's not terribly mobile. So let me show you what he is doing with his camera. Not terribly mobile, but it is mobile enough, and that's going to be important in this game. We're going to talk about it. Remember that when Pilgrim sent this, he said, as taught by Guido. So what are some of the biggest things that I teach? Well, we'll get to that. I think you probably know if you've been around the channel for a bit. As far as flow and gameplay goes within the actual meta of a match, what should you do first, what should you do second, and how do you flow from there? So we'll talk about that as we go. You can see that he's driving up here on, what is this, Abbey, I believe, you betcha. And we're over on the west side headed south. And nothing much going on here. He's got a good force, and he just drives in. And one of the cool things about this tank, it is a pretty darn good assault tank, especially top tier. Tier 8s will tend to shred it pretty badly, but that happens to just about every Tier 7. So he moves on in here. It does have some pretty significant armor, but it's got two big tumor weak spots on it. Both those little turrets on the right and left side can be easily pinned. So it's very difficult to hide them. You can hide one, but of course the other one's going to be exposed in most cases. He just drives in here and takes some nice aims. Now, one of the things Pilgrim said about Deadhead, and I won't get into the details, but he's dealing with medical things like a lot of us are, but his are relatively significant. But he hasn't let that bring him down, nor has he let it mess with his gameplay at all. So he actually has a really nice game right here. He drops 312 on the Black Prince. Now take a look at the map. All right, I'm not going to stop it, but just look at the map and see what the issues are right here. Obviously, I think you can see one big issue. But Deadhead is in the middle of a scrap over here on the west side, so he doesn't really have time to do much of anything at the moment, but get in here. I think I would have gone after that upper plate instead of shooting into the side there, Deadhead. You might have got that shot in there. Looks like he's going for that right now, right about there, so that was a good shot on that guy. Drops 328, and they just go through the Black Prince. Now watch what Deadhead does. He swings around here. He's got this Comet dead to rights. I like the azimuth on this gun. Look how far right and left this thing will turn. So it actually, for a casemate TD, it comes around corners really nicely. He fights a little bit, this gun, and that was a nice tracking shot. I think I would have just taken the damage by going into the back plate. But he does have him tracked, so this IS is going nowhere. Puts it into the turret, nice soft rear part of the turret. No, somebody else tracks the IS now that IS is in big trouble. And now take a look at the map. Some of you have already seen this happen. And watch what our hero does, old Deadhead. And then consider what it is that I say you do in this situation. You win your flank, what do? Do you push to the enemy cap and go, oh darny, I'm too slow, I just can't make it? Well, this is a really slow tank. Not the slowest in the game, but pretty darn slow. But Deadhead just starts trucking. And that is the exact right answer. Start moving in the direction of the cap. Pushing onto their cap isn't going to win. Not at this point, especially if they get 3 on. But you do have some artillery, and one less at this point, and a M4 A3 E8, got an Easy 8 up there working on these guys. And maybe, just maybe, you can get back there and start working on these guys. So let's see what happens as Deadhead pushes in. I didn't note his setup, but he is running 2 kits. That's very interesting. So 2 repair kits. Not a bad idea on a casemate TD like this. Getting tracked once is a bummer. Fixing it and getting tracked immediately after is a major bummer. He's also got binocs on this thing. I probably wouldn't use binocs on this, but to each their own. I think there's a better piece of equipment, I would say. What do we say here? We got a rammer probably. a vents, rammer vents, and something else. And it looks like his something else is probably the binocs. I'd have to look at what's the possibilities are. I think a gun lane drive, though, might have been a good option for a casemate. So he takes down the Easy 8 that I'm not sure what that guy was doing, maybe AFK or something. And he moves around. Now he starts getting a lot of attention from the M44s, and he will get their attention for the rest of the game. Takes a couple hits and moves, and that's where it's nice to have that kit. Now, he didn't have to burn the other one, but if he'd have been hit immediately after that and tracked. So he comes around the corner, he does get lit, but he puts a nice shot into an E25, and I think we can all agree that that's God's work right there. Takes a chunk out of the E25 and now moves towards cap. Notice that he presses W. He's in a TD, a casemate TD. He has been pressing W. Now, admittedly, this is a heavy kind of TD and excels, as far as casemate TDs, it does excel in the assault role. So that makes it a little bit easier. But as a general rule, if you get on your horse and TDs, move your gun into position, you're going to have good results. So he comes up here. The E25 gives him a little bit of SA by sitting on the cap for a while, and then clearly the E25 has run away. Now they are so fast, goodness knows where he's gone. He does not catch him up in the flat, so it's hard to tell where he went. Perhaps over to the east, or maybe straight through the middle and try to rejoin with his V39 buddy, or maybe push down. Now look at the Tiger 131 and the Black Prince both pushed into cap. Now they do a favor for everybody and get rid of the other E25. That was a very important, huge kill. And Deadhead just pushes on into the middle and takes everything into his own hands, right? He's not going to sit back. He's not going to sit in the bush. He's not going to wait back at the cap. The other thing I haven't mentioned, which I thought was great, is the second hero of this game has been following Deadhead, Big Fat Target. Shout out to Big Fat Target in his IS from clan TCD-US, who follows the big bad on the map and does a great job, some yeoman's work of supporting the HTC. So watch what happens here. And this is a great example of sticking with the other guns on your team and using two guns versus being one gun out in the open. And it's really nice for Deadhead because he's in a casemate. And while it does have a great azimuth on the gun, it does obviously have a problem with getting circled. So he comes up here, he actually finds that the V39 didn't really go much of anywhere. Shoots him on the way by. V39 thinks he's going to come around and have a heyday. Hey, look at me, I'm behind the HTC. Nope, never mind. Nothing like having a wingman, folks. There is nothing like having a wingman. Little life advice for you. The IS takes a hit. Now watch what the IS does here. He takes a hit. He knows the E25 is on the cap. That's a problem as long as it's camoed up, because nobody can see him right now. He already takes a pot shot at Deadhead. Deadhead comes in here and says, all right, where are you? And look at the IS. He's moving right in. All right, fine, dude. I'm going to move forward until I see you. There you go. You took a shot. I see you. Oh, man, that would have been really nice to get that shot. Maybe just rushed a little bit. I think we have a little bit of excitement going on right here. That's a nice shot. Well done. Puts it right into him. Backs up initially. I think I would have pushed right in at that point. There you go. So not too much of a delay. Oh, wait a minute. It looks like maybe he's going to get a shot. Again, I think I would have gone right after him to support. I don't know if that actually went in. Now watch what the IS does. The IS goes in there with 265 hit points. Deadhead's a little bit out of position here. I think he thought that building could be broken down, but it couldn't. That cost him a little bit of time. And now Big Fat Target takes a huge hit of 181 from the artillery, and that hurt. And I'm thinking, wow, this is going to be a little bit tough with two artillery, an ARL, and an E25 if he loses his IS buddy. The IS is doing the best job that he can. Deadhead is attempting to get a shot on the E25, who is smartly staying behind the rocks right there. Big Fat Target's at 84 hit points. He's a one shot to any artillery. And we can't see what happens over here. Maybe if I move the mouse we can see some of it. No, we can't zoom out enough. But I can only imagine that there is a very tight scrap going on over there. And watch what happens. Look at the bottom right. Big Fat Target takes down the E25, which was a huge, huge kill, and unfortunately dies to the M44. So nicely done, Big Fat Target. Deadhead is a singleton, 1v3. He's got 2,510 damage, 218 assist. Now he's headed back to the back of the cap. And I wasn't really sure what the plan was here. We're going to speed this up because this does take a while to develop. He's going to head over here to the east side of the map, and he's going to go take a look at the 8 line, which is not a bad idea, actually. As long as he doesn't get too far away, he can get back to cap. Now, think about what we've done here. We went down on the west side. We cleaned up a flank. We didn't say something like, oh, I'm a TD, I'm too slow, and just keep trundling towards the enemy cap. He finds the M44, which is outstanding. You gotta love that. Surprise! And the M44 dies right there. Went back to the cap, cleaned it up. No excuses. Pushed into the middle. Found the guy that was hanging there. Went back to the cap. Dealt with the E25 that was in the background. And now we are trying to clean this thing up. So we'll speed this up again. I like what he does here. I thought maybe he was going all the way to the cap, but he's going to head over this way and use this ramp. For those of you that don't know, there's a ramp right there. He's going to go right up to the middle. So he's taking a look, and he finds the ARL, and somehow the ARL is driven around behind him. Came around from the other side of the map. Oh man, that ARL's in trouble. Yep. Oh, shoot that. There you go. Now move forward and get your light. There you are. Big hit on the ARL. ARL is more or less a one-shot. I'm not sure what is the alpha on this bad boy. 280? 320. All right, so a slight high roll, and we get rid of the ARL. That is why you make sure you have the hit points showing instead of just the percentage. You can make determinations like that. He's going to come around this corner and just blap. Oh, he doesn't quite get the kill. Doesn't matter because he's just going to ram him. Nicely done. We are up to 5 kills. 5 kills, folks. Turns around. He just fixed something. Did he just fix damage tracks? Interesting. Okay. Oh, no, he didn't fix anything. One of his kits came back up. All right. So we'll speed this thing up again. And watch what happens here. Headed towards the cap, thinking maybe I'll go get the artillery back there. Droning along, droning along. Oh, oops. And he just turns around and goes back, folks. That's what you do. Turns around, goes back, heads to the middle. This was a nice move. That's a faster way to get there than droning all the way down the 8 line. I don't know if I had to stop there. Looks like he was trying to burn his binocs and maybe get a piece of him. Just speed this up because now we're just going to get big finish, folks. Big finish. Artillery gets a chunk of him. He certainly doesn't want the artillery to shoot against. Notice how he uses his kit. Did he use his kit? No, he did not use his kit. Interesting. He just waited for the stun to go away. 6 kills, 3,399 damage, 218 assists. Fantastic game. Their deadhead. Again, a shout out to Big Fat Target. Well done to the IS as well. When you flank, go back to your cap if it's threatened or to the other flank if it's threatened. Don't go to the enemy cap and bring the campers into the game until you're done taking care of their offensive players. There is probably no more fundamental flow decision matrix than that in this game. There are some nuances. Obviously, one of the big exceptions is you're winning on every flank. Who cares? Noted. Got it. You know, it's 10-5. Kill them. Got it. It's 10-5 and those 5 are going to your cap. Go back to your cap. I mean, it really is about as fundamental as you can get. And if that's all you ever did, I guarantee you're going to improve your win rate unless you're already a 55% or more player, in which case you're probably doing that already. Deadhead, thanks, man. Pilgrim, thanks for sending that in. Good luck to Deadhead and all his endeavors as well. Love to see any more replays that you might have. Did I say replay? And more replays that you might have. For everybody out there, thanks for supporting the channel. Things are going great. I do appreciate it greatly. Moving along. If you want to support the channel, all those kind of details are down there in the description. You can check it out. Click on those. But if all your support is watching the videos, then I very much appreciate that as well. And we will see you.